The Japanese method to clean your throttle body without damaging your engine. What if one of the most important parts controlling your engine's performance is also one of the easiest to damage with the wrong cleaning method? The throttle body may look like a simple metal housing with a butterfly plate inside, but modern engines depend on it for precise airflow control, smooth acceleration, stable idle, and proper throttle response. Over time, carbon deposits, oil vapor, dust, and residue can build up around the throttle plate and bore, especially on vehicles with high mileage. The problem is that many people attack this buildup aggressively, spraying cleaner everywhere, forcing the throttle plate open, scratching deposits away with hard tools, or soaking electronic components that were never designed to handle harsh chemicals. The Japanese approach is different. Instead of treating the throttle body like a dirty mechanical part that needs brute force, the goal is controlled cleaning with minimal disturbance to the components and surfaces that make the system work properly. This method focuses on patience, precision, and understanding what you are actually cleaning. You are not trying to make every surface look factory new at any cost. You are trying to remove harmful deposits while protecting the throttle plate, shaft, seals, sensors, electronic actuator, and delicate factory coatings. That difference matters. A throttle body that is cleaned incorrectly can develop idle problems, throttle response issues, warning lights, or even require an electronic relearn procedure afterward. Number 1. Understand what you're cleaning. Before grabbing a can of throttle body cleaner, the first step in this careful method is understanding exactly what sits inside that housing. The throttle body controls the amount of air entering the engine, and the central component is the throttle plate, sometimes called the butterfly valve. When you press the accelerator, the throttle system changes the plate's position so the engine can receive more air. On many modern vehicles, especially those using electronic throttle control, the accelerator pedal does not directly operate the plate with a traditional cable. Instead, sensors, an electronic motor, and the engine computer work together to control its movement. That is why aggressive cleaning can create problems. You may be dealing with electrical connectors, sensors, seals, bearings, protective coatings, and an actuator assembly rather than just a piece of metal. Deposits usually accumulate around the throttle plate and the inner bore because oil vapor from the crankcase ventilation system mixes with dust and other contaminants entering the intake system. A thin film is not automatically a sign of failure. Some residue is normal, particularly on higher mileage engines. The real concern is excessive buildup that can interfere with airflow around the plate, particularly near the area where it closes. A careful cleaning method therefore concentrates on removing deposits without unnecessarily disturbing components or forcing anything beyond its normal operating range. This is also why blindly copying a cleaning trick from another vehicle can be risky. Some manufacturers have specific procedures for electronic throttle bodies, and certain systems should not have the plate manually forced open. Others may require an idle relearn or throttle position calibration after service. So before beginning, identify your exact engine and throttle body design. Read the manufacturer's instructions if available, and understand whether the throttle plate can safely be moved by hand. Number 2. Prepare the right tools. The second part of the method is preparation, because the safest throttle body cleaning job often depends more on what you do before spraying anything than on the cleaner itself. You generally want the correct throttle body cleaner recommended for your application, clean lint-free cloths, suitable hand tools for removing the intake duct, protective gloves, and eye protection. A small inspection light can also make the job much easier because deposits often hide around the underside of the throttle plate and along the edges of the bore. The key principle is to avoid unnecessary tools that can scratch, gouge, or deform the throttle body surface. A metal scraper, screwdriver, abrasive pad, or stiff wire brush might remove carbon quickly, but speed is not the objective. The objective is controlled cleaning. Before disconnecting anything, make sure the engine is completely cool and the ignition is off. If your manufacturer specifies battery disconnection, follow that procedure, but do not disconnect the battery blindly because some vehicles have electronic systems that may lose learned settings or require additional procedures afterward. Remove the intake duct carefully and inspect the surrounding area for loose debris. You do not want dirt falling directly into the intake passage while you work. Once the throttle body is visible, take a moment to inspect it. Look for excessive carbon around the plate, oily residue, damaged wiring, cracked hoses, loose clamps, and signs of an existing mechanical or electrical problem. If the throttle body is heavily contaminated, physically damaged, or showing obvious actuator problems, cleaning may not be the solution. This is where the Japanese approach differs from the spray until shiny mentality. You are working systematically, not randomly. Put your tools within reach, keep the work area clean, and use only enough cleaner to dissolve the deposits. Remember that more chemical does not necessarily mean better cleaning. Excess liquid can travel into places where it does not belong. Number 3. Remove the intake duct carefully. Once everything is prepared, The next stage is gaining access to the throttle body without creating a new problem. Start by carefully removing the intake duct according to your vehicle's service procedure. This may involve loosening clamps and disconnecting hoses, electrical connectors, or breather lines. Do not pull aggressively on plastic fittings or wiring because older components can become brittle with age and heat cycles. A broken connector or cracked intake hose can create an air leak that causes symptoms far worse than the original dirty throttle body. As you expose the throttle body, inspect the intake tract before cleaning anything. Look for dirt, oil film, cracks, loose clamps, or damaged hoses. If the air duct is dirty, clean it separately rather than pushing contamination toward the throttle opening. Now comes one of the most important rules. Do not allow debris to fall inside the intake manifold. If the throttle body is extremely dirty, use a clean cloth around the opening to prevent loosened deposits from entering the engine. Some technicians remove the throttle body completely for more thorough cleaning, but that is not always necessary and may require a new gasket or a specific calibration procedure afterward. For routine maintenance, cleaning the accessible throttle body surfaces in place can be less invasive. If you can safely see the throttle plate, inspect the area where its outer edge meets the bore. This region is particularly important because deposits can accumulate around the closing area and potentially influence airflow at idle. But remember that the throttle plate is precisely positioned, and its movement can be controlled electronically on many modern vehicles. Do not force it open simply because doing so gives you better access. Follow the manufacturer's procedure for your specific throttle body. If the plate can be moved safely, move it only as directed and never use excessive pressure. Number 4. Apply cleaner to the cloth, not everywhere. Now we reach the actual cleaning stage, and this is where the biggest difference between a controlled method and a careless one becomes obvious. Instead of spraying large amounts of chemical directly into the throttle body, apply an appropriate throttle body cleaner to a clean, lint-free cloth when the manufacturer's procedure allows it. This gives you control over exactly where the solvent goes. Remember, the throttle body may contain electrical and electronic components that do not appreciate being soaked in solvent. The cleaner should be used to soften and dissolve deposits, not to flood the housing. Start with the visible areas around the bore and the throttle plate. Gently wipe away the loosened residue rather than scrubbing aggressively. If the deposits are stubborn, give the cleaner a little time to work and repeat the process. Patience is more valuable than pressure. You should never need to attack the surface with a screwdriver or metal object. When working around the throttle plate, pay special attention to the edges and the area where the plate closes against the bore. This is where accumulated residue can be most relevant to airflow. However, do not try to remove every microscopic stain. Some throttle bodies have factory coatings or carefully machined surfaces, and aggressive cleaning can do more harm than the remaining residue. Also avoid spraying cleaner into electrical connectors, sensors, or the electronic actuator housing unless the manufacturer specifically says that procedure is safe. If you see a sensor mounted directly to the throttle body, treat that area as a hands-off zone unless service instructions tell you otherwise. A useful rule is to clean the surface you can identify, not the component you cannot see. Keep the cloth controlled and change to a clean section frequently so you are actually removing contamination rather than spreading it around. Number 5. Clean around the throttle plate. With the main deposits softened, the next step is carefully cleaning the area around the throttle plate. This is one of the most important parts because the edge of the plate and the surrounding bore can collect a stubborn ring of carbon and oily residue. That ring may restrict or alter the small amount of air passing around the plate when the throttle is nearly closed, potentially contributing to an unstable or abnormal idle on some vehicles. But there is a major difference between cleaning this area carefully and trying to make it perfectly polished. The throttle body does not need to look like chrome to function properly. Use a clean portion of your cloth and gently wipe the accessible area around the plate. If your vehicle's service procedure permits moving the throttle plate, open it only as instructed and support it carefully. Never force an electronic throttle plate against its actuator. The motor and gears inside the assembly are designed for controlled movement, not manual resistance. If the plate does not move easily, stop rather than applying additional force. For stubborn deposits, use repeated applications of cleaner on the cloth and allow the solvent to soften the residue. A soft detailing swab can sometimes help reach narrow areas, but it should not shed fibers into the intake system. Avoid abrasive materials because scratches or damaged coatings can create new problems. As you clean, periodically inspect the cloth. If you see black or brown residue transferring onto it, you are removing contamination. If the surface begins looking clean, stop increasing the pressure. This is an important mindset. Cleaning has a finish line. Once the deposits that matter have been removed, continued scrubbing provides diminishing returns while increasing the chance of damage. Also remember that a dirty throttle body may be a symptom rather than the root cause. Excessive oil residue can point toward crankcase ventilation issues, while heavy contamination can sometimes be associated with intake system conditions. Number 6. Never make these common mistakes. This is the stage where many otherwise simple throttle body cleaning jobs go wrong, so it deserves special attention. The first mistake is using the wrong chemical. Not every aerosol cleaner is suitable for every throttle body design, and brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, or harsh solvents may not be appropriate for certain coatings, plastics, seals, or electronic components. Always follow the vehicle manufacturer's recommendations and the cleaner manufacturer's instructions. The second mistake is spraying excessively. More cleaner does not automatically mean more cleanliness. Excess solvent can migrate into areas that were never meant to be saturated. The third mistake is forcing the throttle plate open on an electronic throttle body that can potentially stress gears or the actuator mechanism. If the service procedure says not to move it manually, respect that instruction. The fourth mistake is using abrasive tools. A screwdriver may remove carbon quickly, but it can also scratch the bore or damage the plate. The fifth mistake is neglecting the intake opening. If loosened carbon or cloth fibers enter the intake, you have created another problem. The sixth mistake is ignoring electrical connectors and sensors. Disconnecting or disturbing components unnecessarily can create faults or require recalibration. And the seventh mistake is assuming that cleaning automatically fixes every idle or acceleration problem. A rough idle can have many causes, including vacuum leaks, ignition problems, fuel system issues, sensor faults, air metering problems, or electronic control faults. Throttle body cleaning is maintenance, not magic. The Japanese method is built around eliminating unnecessary risk. If something requires force, stop. If you are unsure whether a component can be moved, verify it. If the throttle body is already reasonably clean, don't keep scrubbing simply because you want it to look brand new. Designed to be. Number 7. Reassemble and perform the correct relearn. After the cleaning is complete, the final physical step is reassembly. Before putting everything back together, inspect the throttle body area one more time. Make sure no cloth fibers, loose debris, excess liquid, or cleaning material remain. Allow the cleaner to evaporate according to the product instructions. Then carefully reinstall the intake duct and reconnect every hose, clamp, and electrical connector. A loose intake clamp or disconnected breather hose can create an air leak, causing rough running or abnormal idle behavior that may be incorrectly blamed on the cleaning itself. Double-check the connections before starting the engine. This is also where electronic throttle systems require extra caution. Some vehicles may automatically relearn throttle position and idle characteristics after startup, while others may require a specific idle relearn or throttle position learning procedure. The exact procedure varies by manufacturer, model, engine, and control system. Do not assume that one universal turn the key on and wait trick applies to every vehicle. Check the service information for your specific vehicle. After startup, allow the engine to behave according to the manufacturer's procedure rather than immediately revving it repeatedly. The engine computer may need time to stabilize airflow control. If the idle is slightly different immediately after cleaning, that does not necessarily mean something has gone wrong, but persistent problems should be diagnosed rather than ignored. Watch for warning lights, abnormal throttle response, unusual idle speed, or other symptoms. If an electronic throttle warning appears, stop and investigate according to the vehicle's diagnostic procedure. Remember, the purpose of cleaning is to restore proper airflow control, not to create a new calibration problem. Final verdict. The Japanese method to cleaning a throttle body is not about a secret chemical, an expensive tool, or some complicated workshop trick. The real technique is precision over aggression. Instead of blasting the throttle body with cleaner, forcing the butterfly plate open, scraping carbon with metal tools, or trying to make every surface perfectly shiny, the smarter approach is to understand the design, protect sensitive components, use controlled amounts of appropriate cleaner, and remove only the contamination that actually needs to go. That mindset can make a major difference when working on modern engines. A throttle body may contain electronic motors, position sensors, seals, coatings, and carefully calibrated mechanical parts, so treating it like an ordinary dirty metal pipe is a mistake. The safest procedure is always the one specified for your exact vehicle, because throttle body designs and relearn requirements differ significantly between manufacturers and model years. If your throttle body has moderate deposits, gentle cleaning may help restore proper airflow and throttle response. But if the engine continues to idle poorly, hesitates, stalls, or shows warning lights afterward, don't keep cleaning it over and over. Those symptoms may indicate a vacuum leak, sensor issue, ignition fault, fuel problem, or electronic throttle malfunction that requires proper diagnosis. And if the throttle body is extremely contaminated or physically damaged, professional service may be the better choice. The biggest lesson is simple. You don't protect an engine by cleaning harder. You protect it by cleaning smarter. Inspect before touching. Use the right product. Avoid unnecessary force. Protect the intake. Follow